Welcome to Business Talk, the show where we delve deep into the world of business, innovation, and oftentimes entrepreneurship. I'm your host, Michael Avery, and today we've got a very special guest who's an expert in the field of recruitment and SME support. Joining us is Ilana Bouwer, Head of Sales at Pnet, which is one of South Africa's leading recruitment platforms. And Ilana's journey at Pnet began back in 2011. And over the years, she's witnessed the evolving landscape of recruitment, particularly in the SME sector. So, Ilana, it's a great pleasure to have you on the show to share some of those insights. But before that, can we delve into your personal journey and your role at Pnet and what you do to kind of keep yourself busy or inspired outside of the world of recruitment?
Sure, no problem. So, as you've mentioned, my name's Ilana. I've been with the Pnet business for more than 12 years. So specifically focusing on the SME sales sector. I started my journey in August 2011 as a corporate sales consultant, and from there pretty much just grew the SME teams. We started off with a small team of 14 consultants and one team, and it's grown over the last 8 years to 9 teams and 80 consultants. So we've grown quite a lot. Outside of work, I like to travel, photography, so that's what keeps me busy outside of my family life.
Well, that's certainly a passion of my own, travel and photography. And often if I can combine the two, then you're talking. Now, in your latest job market trends report, you say that it's estimated that some 600 million jobs will be needed globally by 2030 to absorb the growing workforce. And many of those jobs are expected to come from SME growth in particular. If you look at the World Bank studies, I reckon they put it around 90%. Do you expect South Africa to follow a similar trend, though, as what we're seeing globally?
Michael, the job trends report says that we will need 600 million SMEs, which is an 87% growth of global SME numbers. The question is, can we achieve that? So if you look at the SA government's National Development Plan for 2030, it's looking to SMEs to be a major resource of employment and drivers of the growth of our economy. So if we focus on South Africa specific, it would mean that we would need to pretty much grow the SME number in South Africa from 2.6 million to 4.8 million, which means that's an additional 2.2 million businesses in the country. If we say yes to this question, then there's two things that we really need to get right in South Africa. So the first thing is that we need to change the actual success rate of failing small businesses in South Africa. And we really need as much support as we can for the SME businesses. The current stat indicates that about 70% of small businesses fail within their first 5 years of businesses. And then secondly, we have to make sure that we have the right skills available to these businesses. So to bring it back to the report, that means that we have to produce more sales skills, more accounting skills, and more software development skills, as these are the top 3 in demand positions that we are recruiting for at the moment.
It's such an important point you raise that, because it's not necessarily just in the idea of developing a product or a service that you as an entrepreneur think the market needs or know the market needs. It's in the execution of that idea. I'm chatting to Michael Jordan, the former CEO of FNB on the show and now very successful venture capitalist. He said, if I gave funding to every good idea that was pitched to me, I probably have no money left and probably very few businesses that are successful, because what I should be looking at and what I do look at is execution. Do I have those business skills, accounting, software development, sales that you just mentioned? That really is where I think the devil, is in that detail. Now, were there any other interesting insights of the report that you think are particularly important for SMEs to know? And if so, what are they?
Sure. I'm going to go a little bit into detail into the 3 main sectors that we've covered in this report. So if we look at a snapshot of the IT sector specific, you'll see that 55.8% of the candidates registered within this sector is employment equity candidates. 63.5% of these candidates live within the Gauteng area specific. 48.7% have indicated that they are obviously willing to relocate. And an average of 3 years and 2 months is how long typical candidates would stay within this role. 52.5% of these registered candidates on our platform does have a tertiary education, and this is mainly male dominant, with about 62% male candidates registered. If we're looking into the manufacturing sector, 53.8% of the candidates are employment equity candidates, 51.8% of the candidates live within the Gauteng area. 60% have indicated that they're willing to relocate. And again, 3 years and 2 months, the typical average stay for a candidate within these particular roles within the manufacturing industry. Again, 64% male-dominant industry. If we look at a snapshot of the sales sector specific, like I mentioned earlier, 69.9% employment equity candidates, 59.7% of these candidates live in the Gauteng area, 48.4% have indicated that they're willing to relocate. Their typical stay or average stay is roughly 3 years and 9 months based on this report, and 37.1% are registered with a tertiary education, 49% male split, so 51% female dominant. So job market activity, Pnet's research reveals that the local job market has increased with 5% quarter on quarter in the second quarter of 2023. And year on year, the hiring activity has also increased with 5%. We've also observed a 27% growth in jobs over the past 2 years if you compare quarter two from 2021 to quarter two of 2023. And then if we look at the employment trends in SMEs, we have seen from this report that the top in-demand skills, like I mentioned earlier, is business management, admin, office support, sales, finance, and IT, with the top 3 in-demand roles at the moment, which is sales representatives, financial accountants, and software developers.
It's very interesting to note the job growth in an economy that has been struggling with load shedding, struggling with a lack of confidence, business confidence, consumer confidence. It shows that in the SME sector, now SMEs are still creating employment. What are the specific recruitment challenges that you see South African SMEs struggling with based on the Pnet data?
So typically when we engage with SMEs, they tend to mention cash flow and cost saving as a big one, poor marketing or sales within the environment, as well as not having the right people in their business. And then a key one would be time as well. So we have recently launched a campaign, and which is called the Business to the Power of People. And this is really what Pnet does. We are all about people and finding the right talent for these companies. So we believe every business should be empowered to win the right talent and to ensure future business success. Pnet is South Africa's leading online platform with a database of over 6 million candidates, and we tailor our recruitment solutions to specifically fit any sized SME organization.
Specifically, if you look at that breadth of reach that you have and the access to deep pools of human capital, how can Pnet solve the recruitment challenges that many local SMEs face? What really sets Pnet apart from other recruitment platforms?
Sure. So I'll go into detail on some of the elements. So if we're looking at a cost-saving perspective, traditional recruitment agencies would charge anywhere between 15 and 20% placement fee of the candidate's annual cost to company. Now, a lot of small to medium organizations don't necessarily have the funds, so that is where the cost effectiveness of Pnet comes in. We pretty much don't charge placement fees, and we basically save the recruitment spend of up to 60% for small to medium enterprise organizations. If you look at something like time to hire or having the time to actually sit without a position filled within your organization, I don't think many SME organizations have the luxury of backfilling positions or having a large spread of, positions that's where everyone can just fit into a different role and just, pick up where somebody is vacant in a seat. So from a Pnet perspective, basically we connect the client with the candidate. So by advertising a job or headhunting a candidate directly from the database, we basically provide that link to immediately access that pool of candidates that's available. If we're looking at a time again, which is also a big thing in SME, most SMEs don't have a dedicated HR department where people can sit and actively recruit, sourcing through CVs and fulfilling that function. So we do provide a service called response handling, where we basically take care of that admin component for the client. So the client would send us their job spec. We would basically load that listing for them and do the handling of the responses for them and pretty much provide them with a short list of candidates. Again, just touching on the time matter, because it is so important in SMEs. is that they don't necessarily have the time to advertise a vacancy and receive 120 candidate CVs and basically filter through that. So we've got a sophisticated job matching technology on our platform, which basically allows a client to shortlist candidates within a matter of a couple of minutes to have the ideal candidates. And on top of that, they can also bulk recruit candidates, so they don't have to manually send out an email to every single candidate that's applied that's not successful to the role.
I think for SMEs, time is that one resource that is almost invaluable. You can't ever get more of it. You really can't wind back the clock, and you can't buy more time, but you can be more efficient, and you can use tools like this to help acquire some time. So it's always one of those things that I think as an entrepreneur, if you can develop a solution that gives people time, you're really onto a winning formula. Now, Pnet was acquired by job tech giant the Stepstone Group back in 2013. How has this helped you grow the Pnet platform?
Yeah, so just to tell you a little bit more about the Stepstone Group, it's made of 20 brands, leading brands within each country, and it covers 30 countries across the globe. So as a global giant in the job tech space, Stepstone places technology in the service of people. So without a doubt, a major benefit for us has been the area of development on technology as well as innovative products. And of course, obviously, the shared learnings and the research and insights of best practices across all the markets.
Now, it's always nice to have a global parent that can bring all of the cutting edge solutions to bear on a local, local platform. And really, that's what SMEs are getting now through dealing with Pnet. For our SME listeners who are excited by what they've heard today, they want to have a bit more time. They want to have a trusted partner that can help them with their human capital, because I think so often it's probably the most important thing besides executing and having that good idea is having the right team as an SME to go to market with. How can they get started with Pnet?
Sure, they can reach out to us on our website, which is www.pnet.co.za, or they're welcome to send us an email through to info@pnet.co.za. And one of our consultants would be able to get back to them.
There we go. And have a listen out for the campaign. I've heard it all over the place. Business to the power of people. I think it's a great payoff line, because ultimately it really encapsulates what Pnet is all about. Ilana Bouwer, thank you very much, Head of Sales at Pnet, unpacking the latest job market trend report here on Business Talk, only on businesstech.co.za, South Africa's #1 business news website.